This conference will now be recorded.
Hello everybody, this is Frank Gray, owner of Abbey Realty, and today I'm very excited to be chatting with you about geographic farming. And I have subtitled this class, Dominate Your Neighborhood. I've done that very specifically because that's the opportunity that every one of you have. If you own your own home or you are renting a single family home, and you anticipate being in that neighborhood for the long term, then it's absolutely worth the investment of time, energy, and money to become the dominant agent in your marketplace. And when I use the word dominant, it's with a very specific meaning. It's not that you're a player in the neighborhood. It's not that you even attain #1 market share in the neighborhood. I'm describing a situation where you have more market share than every other agent in Houston combined. You have personal market share in excess of 50%. That means that when somebody drives through your neighborhood, they're going to see your for sale signs more than all other agents combined. Is that possible? It's not only possible, it's fairly simple to achieve if you implement the proven strategy that we teach you in this class. So hang on, we're going to get into the details right now. You'll see on the screen one of our agents, Shanice Brown. The reason I've included this slide is that Shanice often teaches geographic farming, and this is a presentation which she had customized for herself. The reason I think it's important you know that is that every Abbey agent has that same opportunity. Trek no longer licenses CE instructors. They leave it up to the CE school to determine the fitness of their instructors. And in Abbey Realty, all of our agents who commit to mastering the material and implementing it in their own business have the opportunity to teach our CE classes. You can even do it as a secondary source of income, going to title partners, mortgage partners, even teaching in our own facilities, gathering agents together. And if you charge for your CE classes, which you're welcome to do, it can become a secondary source of income. If you're a team leader, it can be an opportunity for you to identify talented buyer agents and listing specialists. Or if you just love Abbey Realty and want to help us spread the word, it gives you an opportunity to go out and allow agents to test drive the value of our educational program. So big shout out, thank you to Shanice, and an invitation to everybody else. If you're interested in teaching these classes, let me know, and we'll get you access to all the resources. So here's where we're going to go today. These are the questions we're going to answer. What is geofarming? Why should you farm? Where should you farm? How do you farm? How long should you farm? What kind of results should you expect? And how much does it cost? Let's get into it. All of these strategies are based upon the core beliefs that you see on your screen right now. And the reason that we're taking a minute to review these core beliefs is that if you get excited about these strategies and you start spending the money and the time to implement them, but you're not in alignment with these beliefs, you will find yourself unable to sustain productive activity over time, and you will give up before you actually start seeing results. So I think it's well worth it to take a look at these core beliefs which drive the strategies that we're teaching today. First of all, relationship marketing is the low-hanging fruit. We're presuming here that you know the people in your neighborhood, your geo farm, or that you are going to get to know them. You're going to implement a consistent outreach program over time. And that is the easiest way to do business. Your neighbors want to do business with an agent that they know, like, and trust who lives in the neighborhood. It's so much easier and funner than chasing online leads and expireds and FSBOs and all that kind of crazy stuff, which can be a great source of business. But those relationships and sales are much higher in the tree. Why don't we just reach up and pluck off these juicy little pears that are right within reach? And geo-farming gives us that opportunity. Long-term marketing generates better returns with each passing year. And I'm going to give you numbers behind this, but in geo-farming, you can literally double your expected results in the first few years. Second year over first, third year over second, that type of thing. But you have to commit for the long term. And I'll put some numbers behind that as we go forward. Geo-farming is the most efficient source of real estate sales. And I'm really describing here time efficiency. If you live in Cyprus and you get a lead in Clear Lake, you're probably going to drive over there and work it. But you are going to spend hours and hours in the car every time that you go. You're going to spend your gas money. You're going to be out of other productive activities during that time. How much more efficient is it to just walk out of your home, stroll a couple blocks through the neighborhood to meet with a seller or service a listing or show a property? Geo-farming is highly efficient, particularly in a metro area such as Houston, where distances are long and traffic is bad. Consumers prefer to work with a micro expert. Study after study has shown this. Agents aren't looking to do business with somebody who is a quote real estate specialist, or even a Houston real estate specialist, or a Woodlands real estate specialist, or a College Park real estate specialist. They want to deal with a Windsor Hills neighborhood specialist. They want to deal with somebody who knows the local schools that the kids attend. They know the principals of those schools. They know the teachers in those schools. They know when the PTO meetings meet. They know when trash pickup day is. They know what's happening with tax rates. They know how to apply for homestead exemption with the local appraisal district. Consumers want somebody who is invested in a particular neighborhood and knows it better than anybody else. That doesn't mean you can't do business outside your neighborhood. We all do, of course. But if you ask consumers what they want, particularly when they're buying, they want somebody who knows everything there is to know about that neighborhood. And that flips to your advantage with sellers. Because if you have those buyers because of your micro expertise, then sellers are going to want to list their home with you. They want to list with somebody who can bring the buyers. Good marketing delivered consistently is more effective than great marketing delivered inconsistently. This speaks to that old quality versus quantity debate. And I'm coming down in geo-farming on the side of quantity. That doesn't mean that your marketing materials can be sloppy. You don't want to be delivering stuff you just ran off on the office copy machine. It's got spelling errors. It's got out of focus photos. No, your materials always have to be really good quality. But I am saying that you can invest in custom marketing pieces, perhaps creating your own original postcards every single month for a neighborhood. That's great marketing. But if you can't maintain that consistency every single month, it's better to go with good marketing, outsourced marketing, a third-party company marketing who's going to do it on your behalf, perhaps not as effective as what you could do custom. But the fact that it goes out every single month, that's what's going to generate business for you, because you have to be in front of the client when they suddenly realize they have a real estate need. You want your postcard arriving that day. You want your email arriving that day, your mass text message or mass voicemail message arriving that day. And the only way that you can cover all those days is to be shipping good marketing consistently. You can't do great marketing at that frequency. It's either too expensive or too time consuming, but you can absolutely do good marketing at a saturation level. Future results spring from current actions. In other words, the business that you're deriving from your geo farm right now is a direct result of your marketing activities in your neighborhood 6 months ago, 12 months ago, 18 months ago. And if you're not satisfied with the results that you're getting right now, you need to invest right now, and 6 months from now, and 12 months from now, and 18 months from now, to assure that future results are going to be in line with your aspirations. Finally, top agents farm, fish, and hunt. These are the 3 ways that humans have obtained food from the beginning of time, and they dovetail perfectly with our role as real estate sales professionals and how we obtain new business. Some people farm, and that means they plant seeds over time. These are sources of business that take time to develop. The farmer puts the seed in the ground in the spring, he may not have a harvest until fall. Fishing is a little bit different. These are mass advertising sources, billboards and newspaper ads and things like that, where you're not narrowly focused on a particular client or neighborhood. You're casting a wide net. That's why we call it fishing, to try to catch as many people as possible. Social media marketing falls into fishing as a source and strategy. And then finally, hunting. That's where you're really targeting a specific type of client, a buyer, seller, prospect. This is FSBOs, making expired calls. It's where you're determined that you're going to go out, find something, hunt it down, club it over the head, drag it home, and eat it. Hunting takes tremendous energy. It's unsustainable for most people over time, but if you've got bills to pay right now and you need business right now, hunting is a great option for you. Geofarming falls into which of these categories? It's an easy question. You want to jump on it. It's not geofishing, it's not geohunting, it's geofarming. We are planting seeds. They'll bear a harvest soon enough, but we need to be committed for the long term. You can't start farming today and expect to take a listing tonight. You could perhaps do that with fishing and hunting, but farming, you're investing for the long term. Okay, so what is geographic farming? Let's answer our first question. It is simply marketing your real estate services to a defined geographic area with the intent of becoming the dominant agent in that area. You want to be the big gorilla. And as I defined it earlier, that means personal market share in excess of 50% in your chosen neighborhood. So why should you farm? It's efficient. I mentioned that from a time perspective earlier. It's fun. It's fun being the neighborhood expert on real estate. You love to walk to the mailbox, to walk the dog, to go to the park, because everybody who sees you is going to approach you and ask, hey, how's the market? Or what did that house over on the other block sell for? Or what do you think I can do to improve my house now to get it to sell for top dollar? It's kind of fun having everybody in the neighborhood know you and perceive you as an expert on the neighborhood. And then finally, profitable, highly profitable. I'm going to give you exact numbers behind this, but I always look when I'm investing money in real estate, can I get a 10x return? If I invest $1, can I make at least $10 back? And you can absolutely do that in geofarming. Invest $1,000, get $10,000 back. Invest $10,000, get $100,000 back. We'll go through those numbers, but that's exactly why you should be farming. Where should you farm? Your own neighborhood. And I feel like I should just stop right there, because 99% of you should farm your own neighborhood and not consider anything else. And I can tell you some horror stories from my own experience. One year I spent $8,000 trying to develop business in a neighborhood where I thought there was opportunity. And after an entire year of intense, focused, smart marketing, targeting those homeowners most likely to move, I did not even get one single listing appointment in the neighborhood. And I should have known better, because I didn't live in the neighborhood. I didn't walk my dog in the neighborhood. I didn't send my kids to the neighborhood schools. I really was poaching. I was trying to go into a neighborhood simply because I thought it presented a business opportunity. But what you want to be able to say is, I live here, I work here, I play here. Nobody loves this neighborhood more than I do. Nobody's invested in this neighborhood more than I am. Nobody knows it better than I do. If you can make those kind of statements with sincerity and passion, then you're going to own that neighborhood. Now, is there ever an exception to that? Well, very, very few exceptions, but it could be a neighborhood where you have some affinity or expertise. So for example, maybe you were raised in the neighborhood and your parents still live there, and your sister or brother have a couple houses in the neighborhood. If you walk down the street, everybody's going to say, hey, Jimmy's back in town. That kind of thing, where you're well known and liked and your family still has some connections there, then perhaps you can do something like that. And I also want to say, if you have some really specialized expertise, perhaps in horse farms or acreage properties or waterfront homes, and everybody knows that, then perhaps you can farm those areas. But those don't really tend to be neighborhoods. In fact, I would almost classify that as a demographic farm. People who share demographic characteristics, they own a waterfront home, they own a boat, they own a horse. And so I'm going back to number one, 99% of you should be farming your own neighborhood, period. And if you are renting in an apartment right now, or you're renting a single family home, but you don't plan to be there for the long term, don't geo-farm. Take my advice, save your money. You're just going to be throwing it away. Instead, let's look at getting you a demo farm, a demographic farm, because certainly you have some interests, some hobbies, a club that you're part of, a church or temple or mosque or synagogue that you're involved with. And we can talk about helping you reach out to people who share that affinity with you, that like-mindedness, that shared passion, and get you some great results there demographically farming. So where should you not farm? Anywhere else. Just put it out there. Just say no. Don't be tempted by, well, the homes in my neighborhood are $180,000. I don't want to sell that. The homes over there are $1 million. I want to sell them. You're gonna spend yourself right out of existence as a real estate sales professional. Just say no. Farm if you don't like your neighborhood, then move. Or if you think you're going to move and you want to be a geo farmer, then move now, so that you can go ahead and get started. But this is not a short-term strategy, and it's not a poaching strategy where you think you can just helicopter in or parachute into another neighborhood and everybody's going to start using you. It won't happen. Now, how do you farm? Here's the 10-point strategy that we're going to share with you, plus a bonus round. Wait for it, wait for it. But number one, direct mail. 2, mass email. 3, mass texting. 4, mass voice mailing. 5, a neighborhood brochure. 6, social media. 7, gift bags hand delivered to each home. 8, neighborhood events. 9, open houses. 10, HOA board service. If that seems like a lot, I want you just to step back and look at the big picture that you see in this 10-point strategy. So much of this is outsourced or can be done efficiently by a mass email or a mass text message. You just write one message and then using your KV Core CRM, send it out to everybody. So even though you're doing massive amounts of outreach, they don't all involve either a lot of money or a lot of time. Some do. Neighborhood events, very time consuming. Hand delivering gift bags door to door, some time consuming there. But again, if GeoFarm is a significant part of our business plan and we're expecting to make $50,000, $80,000, $100,000 from our neighborhood, well, that's what we do. This is the work that we put in exchange for that revenue. So let's do these in reverse order. HOA Service. It does provide you with instant credibility. So if you have an opportunity to run for the board or get on the board, I say absolutely do it. It will give you unique, actual neighborhood expertise, which your neighbors are going to find extremely valuable. It does carry some risk. And if you've ever been involved in an HOA or lived in a neighborhood with an HOA, you know about this. Most people resent the board. They don't like board decisions. That guy doesn't let me park my 67 Corvair in the front yard, and they get upset about that. But generally, if there's anger towards the board, it tends to be personalized against the president of the board. So if you can be a secretary, treasurer, or something of that nature, don't get on a path to the presidency. Let them know right up front, I'm never going to be the president, but serve in a support role. Then you get the credibility, then you get the expertise without a lot of the negative baggage that goes with being the president. Open houses, one of the most important tools to dominate your farm. The key is to use massive amounts of branded directional signs, and that's because your open houses are just reinforcing the message that you're everywhere in this neighborhood, that you own this neighborhood. you're every weekend. You can't turn the corner in your neighborhood without people seeing your face and your name on these open house directional signs. It's so important. I often joke that if you put out enough signs to promote an open house, you can skip the open house. You don't even have to host it because you've gotten the marketing value just from these branded directionals that are everywhere. If you host an open house at someone else's listing, use your own branded directional signs, because that's why you're doing this, is to get the value, and they're not expensive. You can see in the lower right corner of the screen, this is an actual Abbey open house directional that you can purchase from houseofmagnets.com/Abbey Realty. We have our own online store, and these are big. They're like, I don't know, 24 by 24, big signs, and you can buy 10 of them for $100. That's just $10 a piece. I would encourage all of you, do a double order, get 20 of these things, because they are going to be key to saturating your geofarm with the knowledge of who you are. Neighborhood events, pet parade, neighborhood block party, doing a food drive, neighborhood night out, community cleanup. You want to be in the middle of this stuff. In fact, I would encourage you, pick one of these things that's not happening in your neighborhood right now, and you be the organizer of it. You put it all together, and in all of your communications and marketing for the event, you want to make sure that your real estate sales profession is well represented. Not that you're pitching your services, but perhaps you send out the flyers on your letterhead, or in your contact information, you've got an Abbey email address, or you have our Abbey Realty logo, something of that nature. This gives you an opportunity to prove what you say, that nobody loves this neighborhood more than I do. So get the Boy Scouts involved, put out those plastic bags, have them deliver them door to door that says, please fill this with canned goods for our local food pantry. Put it out on your front porch this coming Thursday, and the Boy Scouts will come by in the afternoon and pick them up. And the opposite side of the bag has got your face and all your contact information, and a pitch for your real estate services in the community. Do something like that. Do it at least once a year, possibly twice a year, and you will very soon be identified as the person who cares about that neighborhood more than anyone else. And then don't forget Halloween. And I realize as I'm making this recording right now, it's February. Halloween's a long way away, but oh my goodness, it is the absolute best day of the year to establish yourself as the professional in the neighborhood. What's different about Halloween than every other day of the year? It's the one single day when all your neighbors come to you. They come to your house. So put some thought into this. Have branded bottled waters, branded chocolate bars that you hand out, perhaps a photo booth where you can print right on site. And you've got your little logo in the corner of the photo, or perhaps you're just going to put all the photos on an SD card and then email them out to the families. But to do that, you've got to get their email addresses. What a powerful way to collect email addresses in your neighborhood, so you can email out these photos. Get a logo canopy, set up in the driveway under one of these little tents that's got your name and Abbey Realty all over it. You may even be more of a direct pitch, perhaps have some flyers of properties on the market in the neighborhood for the parents to pick up. One of our agents shared yesterday, he provided Jello shots for the parents. That's a way to slow them down a little bit and get them to talk to you. So just think carefully about Halloween and how you can use that once a year opportunity to establish yourself in that neighborhood and make all kinds of great new connections. So gift bags, let's talk about this. This is perhaps the most expensive thing that you're going to do in your geofarm. I do recommend at least once a year, and perhaps twice, but at a minimum once a year, you go door to door in your neighborhood. You get these plastic bags with the little holes in them you can hang on a door. Include your personal brochure. We'll talk more about that in a moment. Perhaps put in a football magnet for the refrigerator football schedule. That little red thing in the middle that says the real estate agency, that's actually a rubber jar opener. And I still have in my kitchen right now the first rubber jar opener I got. It was from a real estate company, Watson Realty in Orlando, Florida. And that was over 15 years ago, gosh, almost 20 years ago now. And we still have it and we still use it. And that's the idea behind these helpful items that you put in the bag, is that they're going to be kept in the home as a constant reminder of who you are and the services you provide. And the most important thing that you're going to see on the screen right now is on the right, branded notepads. Put 3 or 4 of these in every bag, 25 to 50 sheets on each one. This alone would be a good reason for going around a couple times a year, is just to restock everybody with these notepads. Everybody's going to put these in their kitchen drawer. They're going to use them for their shopping list, their to-do list, their notes to each other in the family. They can transform your business if you get them into every home in your neighborhood, and this is how you do it. Gift bags left at each door. Let me just say, just real quickly before we get away from this, I'm not a big fan of door knocking. Maybe that's because I'm a big brute of an ugly guy and it would scare people if I was ringing their doorbell. Perhaps if you're a petite, non-threatening female, you would have better luck doing that. I just go by and put these gift bags at each door. I don't ring their doorbell. Here's just a few tips. Some of these are from my personal experience. Don't knock on the door, again, unless you're non-threatening and it's at a time that they wouldn't feel you were inconveniencing them. Don't leave your item hanging from the doorknob. I'm sorry, just leave your item hanging from the doorknob or at the doorstep. Sometimes the doorknobs aren't conducive to hanging something, so I just lean it up against the front door. Watch carefully for signs the family is out of town. Look for newspapers around. If all the lights are out, perhaps you've just noticed it doesn't seem there's any cars around or anything. Don't leave anything. You really don't want them coming back from vacation a week from now and finding your stuff on their front door, signaling burglars that they have been out of town. I promise you will get an obscene phone call if that happens. So I recommend the day after you do this, drive the neighborhood, and if you still see any bags left on front doors or hanging on the doors, go pick them up. Don't leave them there beyond one night. And then be very quiet when you do this, especially if early in the morning. You don't want to disturb any dogs in the house, because even when the people are sleeping at 5:30 or 6 in the morning, the dogs are awake, and you don't want them going crazy and waking up the family and perhaps calling the police, or at least coming outside to see what you're up to. And just don't do that. So do it during hours where people are typically awake. All right, social media. You want to be very active on Nextdoor. It has become the go-to app in most neighborhoods. In some neighborhoods, they're even allowing sponsoring agents. They're taking advertising. If you can be a sponsoring agent, do that. But at a minimum, be active, be responding to posts, and always in a very, very positive. I mean, if neighbors start throwing dirt at each other, and they love to do that, stay out of that. Even if you have an opinion, don't offer it. You always want to be the positive person, not entering into any controversial things. Post regularly on a community Facebook page, or create one if one doesn't exist. Some neighborhoods don't have Nextdoor yet. This would be a great opportunity for you to create a neighborhood Facebook page. Create a website for your neighborhood that links to an HAR home search for the neighborhood. And you can create these websites or pages free using your KV Core website. It's got unlimited landing pages you can add. Then you buy a vanity URL, something like Harper's Landing realestate.com, something of that nature. Promote that website in the neighborhood, and it has a live link to the MLS, so they can literally see every active, every pending that's in the neighborhood. And I do have a bonus strategy for social media coming up. You're absolutely going to love it, so just wait for it. Your neighborhood brochure. This is something that I don't know why more agents don't do this. These personal brochures and neighborhood brochures have made me a fortune over the years. This is basically a personal brochure, but it's themed with the neighborhood. So it would have a lot of the same information as your stock personal brochure that you use with everybody everywhere. But you'll see in this sample from when I lived in Windsor Hills, I put a picture of the clubhouse on the front, put my contact information on there. But notice the most important thing underneath my name, Windsor Hills Resident Realtor. That's the message you have to emphasize. You're not just some poaching realtor who sees opportunity. No, you live there, you work there, you play there. You're the resident. So make that message loud and proud. 11 by 17, the highest quality cardstock. Include personal and neighborhood photos, and include your value proposition for sellers, because we're reaching out to homeowners who may want to sell. Let me show you a little bit about what is on the front and back covers. You've already seen the front. The back is on the right. This is where I put up my total exposure marketing plan. This was originally a 14-point plan in my personal brochure. I reduced it to 7 points so that I could increase the font size. Again, you have to know your audience. Windsor Hills is a 55+ community. People cannot read small type. And I've always thought it's very funny. After I moved into the neighborhood and started marketing the neighborhood, another agent who'd been there from the very beginning of the neighborhood thought, oh, well, I guess I better start marketing too. And she started sending out postcards to the neighborhood, but the font size was so tiny, it was like a 6-point font. Nobody in the neighborhood could even read the postcard. So it's not just enough to market. You have to keep your audience in mind. And then let me show you what was on the inside front cover. Then I just put a little personal story in here. Again, some personal photos. I'm trying to connect with them on an emotional level. I emphasize when we move to the home, and I give our address in here. I talk about how much we love the neighborhood. I put a picture of my grandson and my daughter, because what do old people care about most in the world? Grandkids. And I'm trying to share with them that I am one of them. And then the inside back cover is a little bit of a resume, some education, affiliations, and then photos of couples in the neighborhood who have trusted me to list and sell their home. It's validation of the message that I'm sending. Hey, if your neighbors are using me and they're smiling and they're happy, then you should as well. Now, an objection I get from agents all the time is, well, Frank, you've done all these things and you've got a great looking resume to put in a brochure, but I didn't even graduate from high school and I just started real estate, so I don't have anything to put in here. Wah, wah, wah. I hate to say that, but whining probably just pushes my buttons worse than anything else. The truth is, everybody has a story. Everybody has something to tell. And even if you're a brand new agent and you didn't even graduate from grade school, go pull up your TREC profile. It lists right there every class that you have ever taken for credit, including all the classes that you took that enabled you to obtain your real estate license. And if all you did was list all those classes, my goodness, it looks like you've got a Harvard PhD, somebody who has studied and passed all of those courses. So please, please, no excuses, no whining. Just pull off those classes and put them on there and be proud of the expertise that you have to offer people in your neighborhood. There's a quick look at that total exposure marketing plan that I mentioned earlier. I put it on the screen now if you want to come back and study it a little bit more. For a general brochure, you want to put more than these 7 points, but these are the 7 I felt like were most important for my previous neighborhood. So how to use that brochure: you want to deliver it door to door in your gift bag. When you first launch your geo-farming campaign, it's an introduction of you to the neighborhood. You want to take it with you on each listing conversation, and they may already have a copy because you delivered it, but it's just going to reinforce that message. And if your neighborhood has a clubhouse, leave several copies there for staff to share with prospective buyers who may drop in. All right, let's move on to mass voicemail messages. There are many vendors who will provide this service to you. Slide Broadcast and Call Fire are a couple of the best known. It's going to cost you about 10 cents per message. Worst case scenario, to send a mass voicemail. So if you're targeting 400 homes, it's going to cost you $40. But oh my goodness, if it's going to make you 100 grand, is it worth spending $40? One of my real estate mentors called mass voicemail messages his secret weapon. That he said every time he needed another 3 or 4 listings, he would target a neighborhood, and he wasn't just talking about geofarming. He would target any neighborhood with a mass voicemail message and pick up several listings as a result. And his message was just very simple. He'd say, hey, this is Frank with Abbey Realty. Just calling to let you know that I have 8 families currently looking for a home in your neighborhood right now, and nothing currently on the market in Jacobs Reserve really matches their criteria. So if you're thinking about selling your home, give me a call. We may be able to sell it before we even put it on the market because I've already got the buyers. Give me a call. And his phone would ring. He would go in. If it was a match for one of his buyers, he would sell it. And if it wasn't a great match, he would list it and go find them another buyer. Mass voicemail messages. I recommend you do this about 4 times a year. Mass text messages. Again, you want to use KV Core because this service is free to you through our platform. Use variable data so that every message is personalized. In other words, they get the message. It says, Dear Susie, Dear Tom. It appears that you wrote them a personal message so they don't get upset about it. You want to limit it to about 4 times a year, and you want to keep the messages short, helpful, and positive. Here's a few quick examples. Hey, Joe, quick reminder that trash day is now on Thursday. Frank. Hi, Sally, just ran a report showing values are up 12% this year in Montgomery Ranch. Message me if you want to know what your home is worth now. Nancy. Hi, Louise, just wanted to wish you, there we go, and your family a Merry Christmas. Sharice. Hi, Dave, I've got buyers looking for a 4-2 pool home in this neighborhood, and there's nothing on the market they like. Are you interested in selling? Randy. Of course, you would only want to send that to sellers with a 4-2 pool home, but you get the idea. Mass email messages. I'm recommending that you send these out once a month, and it could be a monthly market update, a newsletter, an e-magazine. You want to use variable data to personalize the message again, so it comes, Dear Tom, Dear Sally, that kind of thing. My best recommendation for this is the American Lifestyle Magazine digital version. If you're not familiar with that, just Google it, American Lifestyle. They send out a hard copy that goes out every other month, but if you buy the digital version, it's only $39.95 a month, and you can literally send it to thousands and thousands of people. So that's my recommendation there. It's a beautiful, professional e-newsletter that I think your neighbors will find very attractive. I receive it from several different of our agents every month. And I don't read every one of them because they're identical, but I always read at least one of them because their recipes and seasonal articles are beautiful, beautiful photography and well written. So where do you get homeowner contact information for these strategies? Mass voice, mass email, mass text message. Remind is something that we have access to through the Houston Association of Realtors. A lot of our agents are really excited about Remind, so that's an option for you. Cole Realty Resource, that's a subscription-based service that Abbey Realty has a subscription to, and you have full access to it. It's a database of every homeowner in the state of Texas, and we have phone numbers and emails on about 1/3 of them. So you're not going to get 100%, you get about 1/3. If you're farming 400 homes, you're going to get 125, 150 of your neighbors. But this is where your Halloween outreach and your door-to-door outreach and your normal interaction with agents, you can start collecting emails and phone numbers and just say simple things like, hey, I send out a neighborhood newsletter to most of the folks in the neighborhood every month, but I haven't been able to include you and Susie because I don't have your email address. May I have that? Okay, perfect. And while I'm at it, I may have your cell number in case I ever need to let you know of anything going on that I think you might be interested in. Just build it up over time. And then, of course, if your neighborhood publishes a directory, I mean, that is an absolute gold mine. So check if you've got an HOA or something of that nature. You want to get those into your CRM. Direct mail, let's talk about this for a moment. The question I get when I talk about direct mail most often is, Frank, that's so old school. Nobody does direct mail anymore, which is exactly why you should be doing direct mail. It can make you a fortune. It's a beautiful, powerful way to establish your presence in a neighborhood. So I recommend that you send a postcard or magazine every month. Magazine would be American Lifestyle. Postcards, I'm going to give you some options for that. I do suggest you use a third-party vendor so that it's certain to go out every month. And let me just put some personal history behind that. When I first started selling real estate, I was creating custom postcards every single month for my sphere of influence and my geo farm. And they were always the same kind of theme. It was a happy family standing in the front yard with one of my sign panels and a sold rider. And the clear message was, Frank sold our house and we're so happy about that and the service we received. But at the end of about the second or third year I was selling real estate, when I did my annual review of my business plan, I looked back, and of the 12 months I was supposed to send that postcard, I'd only sent it 4 times. So that was a clear example where I had the quality. I was sending the best possible messaging postcard, but I didn't have the requisite quantity to make the impact that I wanted. So at that point, I switched over to a third-party vendor. Beautiful postcards, not quite as powerful as my custom ones, but they went out every single month. And so their overall impact was greater. So here are some options for you. Sensations. And I'll show you some samples of all of these, but they're stock postcard campaigns. They've got hundreds and hundreds of them, from inspirational quotes to recipes to humorous, seasonal, homeowner tips, everything you can imagine. You just pick one, pay for it, set it and forget it. They're going to go out automatically, and they give you great customization options. Real Marketing does the exact same thing, but everything they send is custom. They have graphic designers on staff. Everything they send out on your behalf is custom to the month, to you, to the neighborhood. Very powerful. More expensive, of course, but if you're trying to capture a neighborhood, I would say 300,000 average sale price or better, and 300 homes or more, that's really the way you want to go. And then finally, American Lifestyle magazine, I would send this to my top 50. It's about $4 an issue. It only goes out every other month, so the total cost is just $200 a month to send to 50 people. They give you advertising options, multiple pages that you can use to put vendors in there. So I'd talk to your mortgage company, your inspector. If you just find 2 vendors to invest $100 a month in your marketing, you can send American Lifestyle hard copy magazine to your top 50 clients, and I'm quite confident that will return many, many times over. So here's an example of a sensations postcard. I always like to use recipes because people just love to eat. And even if they're never going to cook the recipe, they're going to drool over those cookies for just a moment before they throw it away. And don't kid yourself. Most of your stuff will be thrown away. But in those few seconds between going through the mail, they look at it, they see your face, they see that chocolate cake or coconut cookie, and they throw it away. You've made an impression. And if they have a real estate need in that moment, then they're going to keep it, and they're going to share it with their spouse, and probably going to give you a call and have you come over and talk to them. But look at the customization options you get. On the front, you get your photo, you get a little slogan, a phone number, and then on the back side, completely customizable. It's all yours. So there's my message: Willow Creek's top selling realtor 4 years in a row. Why do my listings sell fast for the highest possible price? Staging consultation free, landscaping refresh free, handyman service free, cleaning service free. By the way, did I do all those things for every seller? Absolutely not. I'm in this business to support my family, not to give everything away. So we would select the highest impact service that they needed. And it might be to have their windows cleaned. It might be to have the front landscaping refreshed. It might be to pay a professional appraiser to come in and do a measurement if they feel like they actually have more square footage than the appraisal district is giving them credit for. But just pick one and spend your money. I probably average $150, $175 of upfront investment in these services on each new listing, and that just returned many, many times over. Here's a quick sample of a real marketing postcard, and their pattern was they would send out a jumbo postcard 1 month, 2 months, and then the third month they would send out an 8.5 by 11 market update on the neighborhood. So it was a quarterly update. And that's the pattern that I picked. They have actually all kinds of options for you, but I did 2 jumbos followed by a full size, and just followed that pattern every single month they were going out. I love the variable data in the real marketing. You can see at the bottom, prepared especially for Franklin and Mary Gray. And then in the middle, Franklin and Mary, and there's a little message. And so every one of your clients is going to get something that's customized and personalized just for them. Very, very powerful message. And then here's the back of that market update card. Again, I'm just putting in a photo of a happy couple, well-known from the neighborhood, and a little bit of their story. Okay, there's another sample. Again, real marketing, where I'm highlighting on the back side some of my current listings. And then the American Lifestyle magazine that I've mentioned several times. Here's one that Cheryl Vecchio shared with me, and you can see it's got her photo on the front. The back cover also features her, and then the inside front and back covers are completely customizable. This is where you can bring in vendors, or you can use those pages for yourself. Completely up to you. So what's it going to cost? I know that's what inquiring minds want to know. Postcards, about 65 cents a piece. Plastic bags, about 20 cents. Gift bag contents, about $3 each time. Now think about that, 400 homes. You're going to have about $1,200 just in your contents. Add a brochure in there for $1. Now you're up to $1,600 plus your plastic bags. Oh my goodness, what's this going to do to me? Well, annual budget for 200 households is about $2,500. For 400 households, about $5,000. Why would you ever spend that kind of money? It's because you're not spending, you're investing. You are a business person, and you do have to spend a certain amount of money to make money, but it's very, very powerful. This screen tells you how you can get American Lifestyle for free. I already mentioned that. Here are the results I want to share with you. And these are extremely conservative. When I was selling, I blew these numbers out of the water using the strategy that I'm explaining to you right now. So I know that you can do far better than this. But even at worst case scenario, which is what's on the screen, you should be selling 1% of the homes in your neighborhood every year, your first year. And at an average sale price, average commission anyway of $8,000, that's what our average sale commission is in Abbey Realty. That's $16,000 you're going to make just selling 2 homes. Remember, you invested $2,500 to make $16,000. But it gets better and better. The second year, you should be selling 2% of the homes in your neighborhood. That's $32,000 on your $2,500 investment. And by year 3, 6 sales, oh my goodness, can I do the math in my head? 6 times 8, $48,000 from your $2,500 investment. Double that if you're marketing to 400 homes. And I would say double that, because you're going to get better results than you see on the screen. My last year that I was selling in my Tomball neighborhood, there were only 230 homes in the entire neighborhood, and I generated 16 sales out of those 230 homes. And I did it in the 3rd year that I was marketing the neighborhood. So it really is unlimited what you can do if you follow this strategy consistently. So we are now at the bonus round. I have walked you through all 10 points in my standard geographic farming strategy, the 10 things that I did when I was geofarming, and I proved its success in 2 different neighborhoods, one in Tomball, one in the Woodlands. But now I want to share with you something that I did not have access to. The KV Core technology platform and the opportunities that it gives us to create buyers and leverage that to get sellers in our GeoFarm. The most powerful listing lead gen tool I've ever used or heard of, now easier than ever. So let me get into it. I'm going to recommend that you find a family who's looking for a home in your geo farm, and then you take a photo of them holding a cardboard sign that says, please help us find our new home in Jacobs Reserve or Willow Creek or Alden Bridge, wherever it is. But do it like you see, like the guy in the picture, cardboard signs, side of the road, but you get the whole family in there, you get them smiling, holding that cardboard sign. That photo is going to go on the front of a postcard. Oh, excuse me for just a little humorous break. I love some of the creativity these cardboard signs have these days, so I just wanted to share those with you. Okay, back to subject. Put the photo on the front of a postcard. The entire front of the postcard just has that photo of that family. And then this is the message that goes on the back. Are you thinking about selling your home sometime in the next year? I currently have 15 families actively looking for a home in Jacobs Reserve, like the Smith family on the other side. And nothing currently on the market matches exactly what they're looking for. So if you're willing to consider selling your home for full market price and saving up to 50% on realtor fees, call me today. I may already have your buyer. You don't have to put the save 50% on there. You could save them 50% because you don't even have to go on the market if your home is a match. But do something like this, tweak the message for your style of business, and I guarantee you your phone will ring off the hook. I've done it twice when I was previously geo-farming, exactly what I said here with the cardboard sign, and generated 4 to 5 listing appointments each time I sent out the postcard. But I mentioned that today we have an opportunity that I didn't have in the past when I was doing this. And it's because we now have the answer to this question. Where do you find families who want to buy a home in your geo farm? I said in the postcard text, let me go back here, I currently have 15 families actively looking for a home. Where do you get 15 families or 10 families or 8 families or 3 families that are looking for a home in a particular neighborhood? That's where technology has come to our rescue. Using the Core Property Boost feature within KV Core, you can spend as little as $60, promote any active listing in your geo farm, and generate an average of 15 leads for that property. That's what we're averaging. A $60 spend is generating 15 leads, not 15 leads on every single ad, but that's the average. Some are more, some are less. And so you can put your actual results numbers in your postcard. I have 8 families, I have 22 families, and you do, because those are families who responded to your ad saying they were interested in that home in your neighborhood. So you're being absolutely sincere and truthful in your messaging, and you want to have that cardboard sign ready, because when you get these 15 leads, you're going to be reaching out to them, call, text, email, call, text, email, call, text, email, social media outreach, until you break through. Your goal is to connect with at least one of them and get them to come to the neighborhood to see the property, and you're going to have that sign ready, and you're going to talk to them about what you're doing. You're going to take a photo of their family in front of the house with your cardboard sign, and you can tell them how it's going to benefit them. It's going to benefit you, of course, but your purpose in doing this is to identify additional properties in the neighborhood that may not even be on the market right now, that might be a great fit for them. That's their incentive for helping you do this. In addition to the Core Property Boost, you can find these people at an open house. So host an open house in your geo farm. It could be your listing, it could be anybody else's listing. Have your cardboard sign ready. And as part of your normal dialogue after they tour the house, you say, hey, what did you think? How does this line up with what you're looking for? And they're going to say, well, the backyard's a little small, or this or that or the other thing. And you say, well, you know what? I do have access to every home on the market. In fact, I have flyers on several of them right here. I'd be happy to schedule showings with you. I've got my internet pulled up right here. I can run a quick search and find exactly what you're looking for. But it's possible that on your time frame and your price range with your list of criteria, that there's nothing on the market right now that you're going to fall in love with. And if that's the case, I have a proven strategy for finding homes that aren't on the market. Here's what I do. I take a picture of you and your family with this cardboard sign, and I'm then going to put your face on a postcard. I'm going to mail it to every homeowner in the neighborhood. And I'm going to ask them if they would consider selling their home if it matches your criteria. How do you feel about that? 90% of them will say, are you kidding? That would be awesome. That would be fun. So you can take their picture at the open house. Now, let's say you have 8 families come through your open house. What's your number on the postcard? I currently have 8 families actively looking for a home in our neighborhood, because if they're showing up at an open house at a home in your neighborhood, they're actively looking. And you got them registered. So they're your clients, or if they belong to another agent, you're still going to be sharing the information with that agent trying to sell your listings. Okay, so don't get caught up in minutia and I can't do this. Again, this is a no whining zone. Just put a little thought into your business and use these lead opportunities from the core property boost or the open house to leverage and multiply your opportunities to get listings in the neighborhood. It's an absolutely unbelievable tool. I used it years ago when I was selling. I've been teaching this specific strategy for several months now in our company, and I taught this class yesterday live, and an agent reached out to me last night to say that she's already putting it together. She's got her cardboard sign. She's run her core property boost. I cannot wait to see the impact this is going to have. This strategy alone could transform your business. So please don't overlook the power of it to generate significant income and allow you to become that dominant agent. But wait, there's more. Okay, this is again a double bonus. So many agents want to do builder business, and there's a reason for that. Builders can give you their unsold listings that you can become the listing agent on. They can share with you their unrepresented buyers so that they can write you in on the deal. They can refer you to their buyers who have another home to sell before they can purchase the builder's home. They can give you the contact info, the leads for prospects who didn't buy one of their homes, but they're clearly in the market for something. That's why so many agents want builder business. Most agents don't get it because the agents are focused on what they want rather than what the builder wants. And you have to think like a builder. What does a builder want? They want one thing. They want buyers. They want to sell those homes. But now, because of our technological advantage with KV Core, you have an unprecedented opportunity to create buyers for the builder's inventory homes. Think about it, using the core property boost on any resale home in the neighborhood where the builder is building, or on one of the builder spec homes if it's actively listed. If it's not, you can offer to actively list it for them for free for the purpose of generating buyer leads using the strategy that you explained to them. And now you generate 8, 10, 12, 15 new leads with every core property boost. If you can just get one of those to come through every week to the builder's model, the builder's going to say there's nobody trying harder to sell our homes than you are, and they're going to start creating all these opportunities for you. You just have to think, what does a builder want? Because now you have the opportunity as never before to deliver it. So the core property boost can be the key to getting you builder business. It can be the key to helping you dominate your neighborhood at a minimum cost of $60. And they have larger, more expensive plans with lower lead costs, but at $60 an ad, you should be generating an average of 15 leads. It's absolutely powerful. So my final question, who's the gorilla now? You, the gorilla. You are now, by implementing this strategy, the dominant agent in your geo farm, in your neighborhood, the place where you live. And that's a fun way to do business. Well, that's all I've got for you today. I hope it's enough. Please take action. Don't wait for perfection. As my friend Chad Prio says, take imperfect action. Do something right now. Let's get started. Let's make that cardboard sign. Let's run the property boost ad. Let's start ordering materials for our gift bags we're going to hang door to door. Let's sign up with a third-party vendor. Let's start taking action, because your success is just on the other side of your behavior. My name is Frank Gray. Let me know anytime I can help you grow your business in any way. That's what I love doing. Let's go there together.